Now, here's a concept that I'm going to really be struggling to put into words because it's something that I've been dwelling on for a long time, and it's something that I was able to talk to my father about on the phone, but it's going to be a little bit difficult trying to actually put it into, words without being, I guess you could say, offensive. Um, and I know I've never really cared about, uh, in the worldly sense, being offensive, because the gospel is offensive. The Bible's offensive. But I am going to put it like this. And I want to talk about this in just more in depth as well, because I'm going to be talking about, this on men as well. But um, this is going to be a disclaimer. This is going to be a difficult subject. I am not intentionally trying to ruffle your feathers. I'm just trying to give you it the way I know it, the way I see it, the way the Bible presents it. So yeah, here we go. And this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for the longest time. Mamma mia. But yeah, just a heads up. I will unfortunately not be filtering what I say here. And I pray that you do not take my words the wrong way. So, with that all being said, let's get into that. So, I want to talk about women in the Bible. I know women in the Bible, there have been a lot of, I guess you could say, quarrels when it came to that, especially coming from, women like me. And I do want to break down some of the things that the Bible does have to say about specific things and where that all makes sense. Now, when I read things about women, it makes a lot of sense to me because it's all just it's all connected. Like you can, like me personally, I see exactly where God went with it. But I'm going to make the argument here that the Bible actually shows a lot more favor to women in this sense. And you're going to be thinking about, oh, well, how in the world could you possibly think that? And I'm not saying that as like a heretic statement. I'm not saying that, oh, God made women superior. Not that. It's not some worldly feminist nonsense. Hear me out. Especially my women, my girls. Hear me out. So, we have things like marriage and divorce. Now, I'm going to say it, and like I said, this is going to be offensive, and I'm sorry in advance. Uh, you are not supposed to be getting divorced. Unless it's cheating or beating, you are not supposed to be getting divorced. If he's putting your hands on you, that is different because, uh, you can't, you're going to be, like, you can't let him beat you to death. I have, that much humanity. I know some people who are like, oh, well, the Bible says if he beats you, you should return to him. I mean, I understand that, and I know I'm contradicting what even I said, but I would say pray on it. If you're really that pressed, pray on it. But I like you gotta get out of there. If he's putting his hands on you, don't hesitate. Like leave that situation. But and of course, if he's cheating, he's already broke the sanctity of your marriage. So there's literally no reason to stay with him. However, when it comes to like these little fickle arguments that cause a divorce, you're not supposed to be getting divorced. If you get divorced, you're an adulteress. That's just it. And I'm not saying this because you hate people who you hate divorced women. No, no, no. It's not something that I think. It's not something that I care about. I'm just laying the premise. Traditionally, and this is how. And I'm going to make the argument, and I'm going to stand by it. It should be like that. If you get divorced, you should be an adulteress. Oh my goodness, you're so harsh. And let me hear me out. This is why. I think the way the Bible presents marriage is actually quite beautiful and beneficial to women. And this is why. Because you have divorce. Like women can't get divorced. Women don't have a say in divorce. The biblical thing about marriage is you have a man and you have a woman. Very important baseline. That's there's nothing else there. Man, woman. I will get into deeper into that for those who don't understand later. However, you have a man and you have a woman, and um, the woman's job, um, the woman's job. is to listen to her husband. You listen to your husband and you obey your husband. And I think that is a good thing. And again, hear me out. I know that if for some people this is just getting worse and worse, but hear me out. I agree with everything the Bible has to say on marriage for this. If you're in a situation where you, if you leave a man, you're an adulteress and you can never marry again. You're going to be left with kids. You can never marry again. And you have to listen to everything he says. You better pick a darn good man. What that does is it teaches responsibility in women. What it basically says is you better pick a man who you can look up to. You better pick a man who you can look up to as a leader. You don't want to pick a stupid man. Forgive my language. You don't want to pick a foolish man. You don't want to pick a man who's going to lead you and your children into wickedness and poverty. That's why I say when you pick out a man, you want to make sure that you have a list of things that you're going to value. You want to make sure that you guys are going to click on some of the same things, biblical things. But you want to make sure you guys agree on some of the same things so you can look up to him without quarrels. You shouldn't be fighting with him. Because if you picked your partner correctly, and this goes for men too, if you pick your partner correctly, and I'm not trying to be, I guess the word's condescending or holier than thou, but hold on. Feet hurt again. Oh, that's a lot better. But like I was saying, if you're going to have to pick somebody to be with for the rest of your life, you really want to make sure that that person agrees with you so you are not fighting, so you're not pushed towards a divorce. And that goes specifically for women because this man is going to be the head of you. And you do not want somebody leading you who you're going to argue with all the time. That's why it's so very, 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 very important to pick a man who is going to put your feelings and thoughts into consideration. Whether he agrees, you should keep in mind that he is going to be the head of the relationship like the Bible says. So what he says is going to have the final say. But you would much rather his final say come to a decision that you both can agree on, that you're both not going to have a quarrel on, that you're not going to be fighting for weeks over. So when it comes to the Bible saying the man is going to be the man is going to be the leader in the relationship, it makes so much sense because it creates an incentive for women to find a man who will lead them properly. It's saying, hey, this man is going to be the head of the household, so you better pick a good man. This man is going to be leading you and your family and providing for you. You better pick a good man. That's what the Bible is saying. And the same thing goes for, divorce. It's basically forcing women to get it right the first time. For divorce, you do not want to pick a foolish man. Like I said, you don't want to pick a man who's going to lead you and your family and your children into wickedness or poverty. So you want to make sure that you have a checklist of things that have to be checked off. Stable job, a stable upbringing, a stable, just stability. You want them to bring stability and responsibility into the relationship because at the end of the day, what he says goes. And you want that, and you want what he says to be something that's sound and reasonable. And that's what protects women so much because it basically says, women, you're going to be stuck with him for the rest of your life. You're going to have children with him, and he's going to be the head of you. So who are you going to pick? Are you going to pick a foolish man, or are you going to pick a responsible man who's good for you and your family? And that's where I agree. That's where I agree with the Bible. It's not saying women, you're less than men, so the men has to rule over you. No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying if you're going to pick a man, you better make sure he's a good man because you're going to be stuck with him. You can't afford to be an adulteress. You can't afford to to pick, a foolish man. So make your choice wisely. It forces women to choose wisely the first time. And that's where chastity comes in. For more ways than one. Chastity. You do not want to get pregnant by a foolish man because, again, he's the head of the household. So it's within your best benefit to not pick a foolish man. So that's how it helps women. Uh, and also, while I'm on this, and I'm so happy that I am too, because I had gotten banned from True Christians, the Reddit community. And I sound wicked salty. I am. Ooh. But over this particular thing, what was it again? Oh yeah. It was about I don't know. I said oh yeah, but I literally just forgot it a second later. But oh yeah, homemaking. So, gosh, I should make this into another video. Um, you know what? Homemaking. I'm gonna make it into an entire video, like it deserves. So yeah, that's gonna be the next one.